Hi, my name is Shannon. I am more than 3 years post-op now. My surgery was the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and I had that done in June of 2013. And my surgeon is Dr. McPhee, and I love coming to the office still to see my surgeon and to see my dietitian and to be supported along the journey. So I decided to have the sleeve in January. I started to really think about it and why I wanted to do it. I started to talk to my loved ones. I was feeling the pressure of, was this a decision that was too radical? And I had struggled with weight all my life since being a young kid and had been on a lot of diets, had tried a lot of things, and was successful in losing a significant amount of weight 2 times in my life, but was never able to keep it off. So a friend had talked to me about the word surrender and the fact that surrender doesn't always come in the way that you think it should. And so that really gave me a lot to think about, and thought, yeah, maybe this is the right decision for me, and maybe this is how I surrender to the weight loss issues that I've had and move forward in life. So I decided to do it and started my journey and came here for 6 months pre-op with the dietitians and the doctors to get ready for the surgery. So I always really enjoyed exercising, but felt like I was never really able to do it because of the weight or to be as successful as I wanted to be. So one of the great joys that I have found in losing, at my heaviest and to now, I've lost 100 pounds. And one of the joys that I have found is just exercising. I do sprint triathlons. I have done a 25K trail run. I've done a 100-mile, just called a century bike ride. I am currently training for a 10K and a half marathon and another bike ride that'll probably go like 50 miles. So I really find that helps me to stay on track to set goals of doing different activities or events and training for those, and then keeping my nutrition on point. So November of 2019, I started eating whole food plant-based, and that has been a really great change for me, along with this tool of the sleeve, because I really focus on how to fuel my body and how food makes me feel. And eating whole food plant-based really has helped to take away some of those cravings that I have had, and really, like I said, just helps me to pay attention to how my body feels and how the food makes me feel. You can eat a lot of things and be successful losing weight, but when you eat those, do you feel ready for your day? Do you feel mentally alert? Do you feel physically ready to take on different challenges? And that's how I feel now with the whole food plant-based diet. And the dietitians here talk about protein all the time, and we want to make sure we're getting our protein. So obviously still continuing to work on that through nuts and seeds and beans and lentils and all of that kind of stuff. So I would say one of the biggest challenges for me was just trying to get over the judgment that I thought people might have of me for, again, having surgery and taking this approach. And for a while, I didn't really talk to a lot of people about it. My close family and friends knew, but I wasn't very open. And just recently this year, I've decided that it's time to share my story. It's time to use my story to maybe help other people and to let people know that if you take this seriously and you really consider why you're doing this and how it's going to help you long term, then it could be a good decision for you, and it definitely was for me. So 3 years out, and I'm still, again, focused on the nutrition. I keep all of my appointments, even if I have been bouncing back and forth with weight or I'm up a little bit. I think sometimes people that I have met along the way, they tend to cancel their appointments then because they're afraid that their doctor or their dietitian is going to yell at them. And that's never happened. We just talk through, what were some of the challenges. Currently, we're in the midst of a worldwide pandemic. If you've gained a couple of pounds, yeah, a lot of people have. So what are some strategies that you can use to get back on track? And ideas for nutrition, just the support and encouragement here. Reaching out to the dietitians whenever I need help, or the doctor. So keep all of your appointments. That's one of the things that I tell everyone. Planning is a big part, because if you're not planning, and you're working or you're out of the house, then what kind of decisions are you going to make? So I always plan my meals. I usually spend a couple of hours on the weekends meal prepping and putting things into individual containers so that I can grab them and go for the day. So I'll do different breakfast options, different lunch options, and some snacks, and get those things, pack them up, take them with me. I usually carry something in my purse in case something unexpected comes up, a little bag of cashews or some type of almond bar or something like that, or something that I ate. Also planning your exercise, so mapping out the course of your week and saying, this is a really busy day for me, so I may not be able to get in the workout that I want, but where can I fit in 30 minutes at least? Either a 30-minute walk. It doesn't have to be an intense workout, but every day I try and get at least 30 minutes of exercise. So maybe I'm taking time in the morning to walk, or planning on the weekends for a longer bike ride or a longer run, or some strength training, things like that. So planning in all areas of your life is really key to make sure that you can continue to be successful, and also drinking your water. It's really interesting. I find that if I'm getting on the scale and I haven't had a lot of water the day before, I actually will probably be up a couple pounds, and it's just the way your body works. So it's a good reminder to me when I do that, just to make sure that I'm continuing to get half of my body weight in water every day. So keeping a water bottle with me at all times is really important. And again, having something in your car or something that you can travel with in case something unexpected comes up. I think one other important thing to keep in mind is, and what I tell a lot of people, this is just one tool. You'll hear people say that a lot. It is a tool. It's not the end-all be-all. So you can't expect surgery to solve all of your woes and your problems with that weight that you've had that have really probably compounded, at least for me, over a number of years. So I took my mental health very seriously, and for at least the full year after surgery, I came to the support groups, I saw a therapist, and I just made sure that I stayed connected mentally with why I was doing this and how I was going to achieve long-term success. So it's something to take very seriously, and make sure that you're working through some of those things that may have compounded over the years. But just always remembering this is a tool. You need to set out a plan for yourself to be successful.
How often do you weigh yourself?
I try to weigh myself just once per week, because I find that I can be someone who can get very addicted to seeing success or failure on a scale. And so I have to think about the other ways that I can see success. Is it through how my clothing is fitting? Is it through a great run that I had? But it's definitely important for me to stay in touch with the number on the scale and to log that as one mechanism. But it can't be the end-all be-all for me.
Awesome. What made you decide to change your diet to the whole foods plant-based?
In addition to having this surgery, I have a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, which I received in 2007. So I've been doing a lot of research on that and some of the nutrition and lifestyle changes that will be helpful to avoid long-term disability with that. And so whole food plant-based eating is one of the things that has been shown, at least a low saturated fat diet. So that was a key to me to making that transition, but then also maintaining it is really paying attention to how this food makes my body feel. It really is, because I can eat things and just know, like, I feel nourished, I feel refreshed. I don't actively track calories or carbs or anything, because I'm getting all of my carbs and calories from good sources. Beans, vegetables, tons and tons of vegetables, a little bit of fruit, hemp parts, good proteins, nuts, things like that. So I will check in and log occasionally now, just to make sure all my nutrients are right in par, especially protein. But those are some things that have been helpful with the whole food plant-based.
Awesome. Throughout the whole surgical process and all the time thereafter, have you noticed, having surgery, having any changes on your social life?
I don't think I've noticed any changes in my social life. I think, well, right after surgery, it was a little bit difficult in the social aspect because I hadn't told a lot of people. So going out, if we're going out for a work lunch or a dinner with friends who didn't know that I had surgery and being able to eat very little, it was obviously noticeable. People were like, "What's going on?" And at the time, I was, hiding it, so I was making excuses or trying to draw less attention to it. So that has definitely changed, and the further out you get from surgery, obviously, the more food you can eat. And then also just now being more open about my journey, that has dissipated.